Have you ever found yourself scrolling through your phone first thing in the morning, even before you're fully awake? Or maybe you automatically reach for a snack every time you sit down to watch TV. We all have these little rituals, these habits that seem to happen on their own. But have you ever wondered why? Are they just random? Or is there something more going on inside our brains? The truth is, habits are anything but random. They are a fascinating and powerful feature of how our brains are wired, designed to make our lives easier. But this same system can also trap us in cycles we want to break. So, let's dive into the science of how habits are formed, and more importantly, how you can take control to build the life you want. It all starts with a simple, three-step process that neuroscientists call the habit loop. This loop consists of a cue, a routine, and a reward. First, there's the cue. A cue is a trigger that tells your brain to go into automatic mode and which habit to use. It can be anything, really. It could be a specific time of day, like your 3 p.m. energy slump. It could be a location, like walking into your kitchen. It could be an emotion, like feeling stressed or bored. It could even be the people you're with or the action you just finished. Your morning alarm, for example, is a classic cue. Once your brain recognizes the cue, it initiates the second step, the routine. The routine is the behavior itself. Action you take, this is the part we usually think of as the habit. It can be physical, like biting your nails, or mental, like immediately worrying about your to-do list, or emotional, like getting anxious in social situations. When your morning alarm goes off, the cue routine might be to hit the snooze button, or to grab your phone and start scrolling through social media. And finally, we have the third and most crucial part of the loop, the reward. The reward is what makes the whole loop worthwhile for your brain. It's the positive feedback that tells your brain, hey, this routine is worth remembering for the future. The reward for scrolling on your phone might be a little hit of entertainment or a distraction from the thought of getting out of bed. For that afternoon snack, the reward is a burst of sugary energy. This reward is what cements the connection between the cue and the routine. Now, why is this reward so powerful? This is where a famous little molecule comes into play. Dopamine. You've probably heard of dopamine as the pleasure chemical, but its role in habits is a bit more nuanced. Dopamine is actually more about anticipation and motivation than pleasure itself. When your brain anticipates a reward, it releases dopamine. This dopamine surge essentially says, pay attention. This is important. It motivates you to perform the routine to get that expected reward. Over time, as you repeat this routine reward loop, something incredible happens. The dopamine spike starts to occur earlier and earlier. Initially, it might have happened when you tasted the sweet snack, but after a few repetitions, your brain starts releasing dopamine as soon as you see the kutha feeling of that 3 p.m. slump. The anticipation of the reward becomes the driving force. Your brain learns to crave the reward before you even start the routine. This craving is what makes habits so automatic and often so hard to resist. So where in the brain does all this magic happen? A big part of the action takes place in a deep, ancient part of your brain called the basal ganglia. Think of the basal ganglia as your brain's autopilot system. When you're learning something new, like driving a car, your prefrontal cortex, the conscious, decision-making part of your brain is working overtime. You have to think about every little thing. Checking the mirrors, pressing the gas, turning the wheel. It's mentally exhausting. But as you practice, the basal ganglia starts to take over. It learns the sequence of actions and chunks them together into an automatic routine. The habit loop gets encoded here. This is why you can eventually drive home from work and not even remember the journey. Your conscious brain was free to think about other things, like what to have for dinner, while your basal ganglia handled the driving. This process, called chunking, is incredibly efficient. It saves mental energy, allowing our conscious minds to focus on new challenges and complex problems. Habits, in this sense, are a brilliant evolutionary shortcut. But of course, this brilliant system has a downside. The brain doesn't distinguish between good habits and bad habits. It just follows the routine reward formula. A habit of going for a run every morning cue. Waking up, routine, running, reward. Endorphin rush and sense of accomplishment is formed in the exact same way as a habit of smoking a cigarette. Cue, finishing a meal. Routine, Smoking. Reward. Nicotine hit. The basal ganglia will faithfully execute any routine that has been strongly linked to a reward, whether it's beneficial for you or not. This is why breaking a bad habit can feel like fighting against your own brain. So, how do we break these unwanted patterns? The key isn't to simply fight the craving with willpower. Willpower is a finite resource, and when you're tired or stressed, the old habit loop will often win. A more effective strategy is to hack the habit loop itself. The golden rule of habit change is this: you can't easily eliminate a bad habit, but you can change it. To do this, you keep the old cue and the old reward, but you insert a new routine. First, you need to identify the components of your loop. Let's say you have a habit of eating junk food every afternoon. For a week, pay close attention. What's the cue? Is it the time of day? Is it boredom, stress? From work? Write it down. Then, what's the reward you're really seeking? Is it the sugar rush? Is it a distraction from a boring task? Is it the social moment of walking to the vending machine with a coworker? This might take some experimenting. Maybe one day, try having a cup of tea instead. Does that satisfy the craving? Maybe you just need a break, so try walking around the office for 5 minutes and chatting with someone. Once you've identified the true reward you're craving, you can find a new, healthier routine that provides a similar reward. If the cue is 3 p.m., boredom and the reward you crave is a distraction, your new routine could be to do a few quick stretches, listen to a favorite song, or chat with a friend for a few minutes. You're keeping the cue and satisfying the craving for the reward, but you're replacing the unhealthy routine with a better one. By consistently practicing this new loop, you're overriding the old neural pathway in your basal ganglia. Now, what about building new, good habits? The principle is the same, but you're building a loop from scratch. You need to consciously design a cue, a routine, and a reward. Let's say you want to build a habit of meditating for 5 minutes every morning. First, choose a clear and consistent cue. A great way to do this is to piggyback on an existing habit. For example, your cue could be after I brushed my teeth. You already brush your teeth every morning without thinking, so linking your new habit to it makes it much easier to remember. Next, make the routine incredibly easy to start. Don't aim for a 30-minute meditation session on day one. That's a recipe for failure. Start with something so easy you can't say no, like meditating for just 1 minute. The goal here isn't to become a master meditator overnight. The goal is to make the behavior automatic. You can increase the duration later, once the habit is established. Finally, and this is crucial, you need to give yourself an immediate reward. Remember, the brain needs that positive feedback to solidify the loop. The long-term benefits of meditation are great, but they're not immediate enough for your brain's reward system. So, create an immediate reward. It could be something as simple as putting a check mark on a calendar, which gives a satisfying sense of progress. Or maybe you treat yourself to your favorite cup of coffee right after you finish. You could even just take a moment to savor the feeling of calm and tell yourself, "Good job." This immediate positive reinforcement trains your brain to look forward to the routine. So, your new habit loop looks like this. Cue, after I brush my teeth. Routine, meditate for 1 minute. Reward, savor the feeling of accomplishment and enjoy a delicious coffee. By repeating this loop day after day, you are literally rewiring your brain. You are carving new neural pathways in your basal ganglia, turning a conscious effort into an unconscious, automatic behavior. Understanding this science gives you the power of a user manual for your own brain. Habits are not a life sentence. They are a system that you can learn to work with. By identifying the cues, experimenting with rewards, and consciously changing your routines, you can break the cycles that hold you back and systematically build the habits that will lead you to a healthier, happier, and more productive life. It's not about being perfect. It's about being intentional. Start small, be consistent, and celebrate your progress. You have the power to design your habits, and in doing so, design your future. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to subscribe for more insights into how your brain works.